I could see a future with both of them. It's down to the question of, like, and I hate to even say this because I hate the mentality of this, but, like, who can I not picture my life without?
America knows Becca Kufrin because she won the previous season of The Bachelor.
Becca, will you marry me?
Of course.
She left the season of The Bachelor engaged to Ari.
This is just us.
It's just us.
It's just,
Forever.
just the two of us.
But fast forward a few months, and Ari decided he had feelings for his runner-up and absolutely crushed her on national television.
Do you want to be back with her?
I want to see if there's that possibility.
America fell madly in love with Becca,
Our new Bachelorette is Becca.
and Becca deserved to find love
Becca Jo Kufrin, my Becca. Will you marry me?
I'm Becca,
And I'm Garrett.
and this is our first interview as a happy couple,
First interview as a happy couple.
as an engaged couple.
And we're super excited to be here.
We're engaged!
We just got engaged.
From the very beginning of the season, when Garrett arrived at the mansion in a minivan, it was the moment that a lot of us fans really connected with him, and you could tell that Becca really connected with him.
One day I hope to be a great dad, you know, an awesome husband.
Hence the minivan.
Yes, that's the minivan.
What I remember the most meeting him that first night was his energy. So of course he pulls up in the minivan. He popped out right away and he had this big grin on his face. And he's like, let's walk to the van. Let me show you what's inside. And so I just remember having fun with him and feeling normal and comfortable and being like, oh, I want to hang out with him more. Soccer balls.
We got the soccer balls here, you know, all different colors.
Oh my,
Oh.
the baby bag.
Oh yeah, diapers.
Diaper
just in
bag.
case. You gotta come prepared. First impression, driving up the driveway in the minivan, and I saw you. I wasn't expecting how tall you were, and your beautiful dark hair, and then your eyes, and your smile, and your accent. I was just blown away.
My accent.
Yeah, I love your Minnesotan accent. It's very cute.
Garrett wound up winning the first impression rose.
Love to give you the first impression rose.
Yes.
So Garrett, will you accept this rose?
I will accept that rose. Thank you very much.
He very clearly had feelings for her right off the bat.
I'm so excited. Oh my God. I appreciate it. I was being myself the entire time. I was being honest, open, and transparent with her, and I was just laying it all out there, and I know she was doing the same for me.
I think for me, the first time where I realized it was getting more serious with him was on our first one-on-one. I feel like we're on the same wavelength.
We are.
And so I knew that I was attracted to him, that he kept me laughing early on, but it wasn't until I had that alone time where I felt like we could just talk about anything, and we had the best time. And a part where it kind of started clicking was when I first picked him up for our date in Utah. We had an hour-long car ride together, and I was driving, and we just talked about any and everything. Had just the best time with you.
So did I.
I think with Garrett, he did take things slower than the other guys, and that was something that he was never hiding the fact of. He just really wanted to take the time to make sure what he was feeling and telling me was what he actually was feeling. And that was something I appreciated. And I remember it was our date in Thailand. He was the only guy left that hadn't said, I love you yet. You know, I was sitting in my interviews and I was saying I would love to hear that because I feel the same way about him, but I don't want him to feel forced.
I realized how much I truly do love you. I was so excited to tell her too. I still remember I was like, oh man, I just felt such a good, strong connection between her and I that I was so excited that day or that night to just express those feelings to her. And I can do this every day.
I could too.
Yes, I could see you being my everyday.
I mean, with Garrett, he was the one, I think, out of anyone who since night one I felt the most like myself with. He could say or do anything and I wouldn't judge him, and I could say or do anything and he wouldn't judge me. It was just that instant, weird, natural connection. And that was really since our first sit-down conversation. He was just always so carefree and laughing, and so I felt that right away with him.
As the season progressed, fans began to have some mixed feelings about Garrett. News broke that he had liked some racist and some transphobic Instagram posts.
You know, it's tough because I didn't mean to offend anyone, and so I released that apology on my Instagram, and I sincerely stand by that today. I'm trying to grow and be better continuously, and we addressed it and we talked about it, and we're moving forward to try to become a stronger couple.
People have their opinions and people have been saying really terrible things about him, but that's not who he is to his core. He's a good guy, and we've all made mistakes and we all have done things that aren't perfect and that offend others at times, but all I could ask for is somebody who owns up to what they've done and who apologizes and wants to grow and move forward, and that's what he's done.
Early on, when we saw the chemistry unfolding between Becca and Garrett, part of what seemed to attract her to him was the fact, she even said, he reminded her of her dad.
He did remind me of my dad. He's somebody that I still pray to. You know, he's my guardian angel, and he's so present still in my life. Both him and my dad found their faith in the outdoors, and they love nature, and they have similar values, and they seem to grow up the same. And so I felt like, you know, in this crazy journey, you're away from your family and friends and the things that give you comfort, and so to still have that and to know that my dad was probably watching down and helping guide me and steer me in the right direction was something really comforting. Are we planting tomatoes?
Yes. You didn't think I would get you out here without getting your hands dirty.
It was after meeting his family where I could really picture my life with him.
Garrett walked into the final rose ceremony with a swing in his step. He could not wait to propose to Becca.
For me, I just laid everything out there on the line, and I was myself the entire time, and I treated it like a relationship just between her and I, and like there was no other guys involved. I never once thought, how strong is her connection with the other guys or anything like that. I just felt confident in what we had, and then if it wasn't meant to be, then it wouldn't happen.
It's the weirdest experience where you go into that last day and you know at the end of it, it's gonna be one of the most exciting, happy days of your life, but it's also kind of tainted in a way in the morning because I had to go into it knowing I was gonna have one hard goodbye. I think that we could be right and we could be partners, but I think that there's just a better fit for us out there. I think I went through all of the emotions. I was excited to see him. I was so sad to hurt Blake.
I did love her. I just thought she loved me back.
Garrett was put through the ringer in order to win the opportunity to propose to Becca.
Rebecca Jill Kufrin, my Becca, will you marry me?
I hate to use this phrase because I think it's so cliche, but everything happens for a reason. I really think it does, and I think timing is everything. As tough as the breakup was with Ari, everything aligned to bring us to this moment, and you know, I have my faith, and I know that God is watching out for me and leading me on the path that is meant for me. I think we had to go through those things, and he's the only guy who came on the journey who has been married before, and I was the only one who was engaged. As weird as it is, I'm happy that everything happened the way it did. I'm happy that Ari ended things when he did because it brought me to him. Garrett Yrigoyen, I love you. I love you so much. Those first couple days after we got engaged and it was just finally the two of us, it was, yeah, a blast. There are times where we're like, what the heck did we just go through? And, you know, did we already finish the season and is it already done airing? Like, it's so crazy to think that we went through all of that because it's a very intense journey to know that we're now at the end and we can be in public and shout it from the rooftops. It still feels surreal.
We haven't really put a timestamp on a time frame for the wedding. Yeah, we're kind of just, you know, going with the flow. We're more excited about just being together outside and being able to walk down the street and go to Costco. And once we move in together, I think that we'll go from there.
I don't care if I have a short engagement or a long engagement, just whatever feels right for us. And so to just feel it out once we can live it together and be in the same area code, then I'm sure we'll get a better feel of timing, but just enjoying each other
Right now,
right
we're just having fun.